Lesley Everett is an internationally acclaimed professional keynote speaker, an expert on the personality of the brand, and has presented her Walking Tall methodology in 25 countries across 5 continents to date. She's a regular contributor to UK, US, and UAE media, is a published author of 2 books with the third in production, and is an executive brand coach. She's often called upon to comment on people in the public eye on their personal brand and image. She's appeared many times on TV in the UK, on BBC News and Sky Business, and in the US, she has been featured on CNBC, CNN, CBS, and Bloomberg. Lesley also has had over 200 articles published in print media around the world. She's the founder of Walking Tall International, with offices in the UK, US, Australia, and Hong Kong. She has created a methodology for personal branding that has inspired audiences for the past 15 years. Her materials are continually developed via the interactive research she carries out and is often quoted by other business professionals. Well, we have a lot to learn from you, Lesley, so welcome.
Thank you very much, Gail. I look forward to our chat.
Now, tell us about Walking Tall and why you set up the company. What is it all about?
Well, it provides a very specific niche in the people element of the corporate brand. And when I was in corporate life many years ago, I realized that there was a gap in terms of people who deserved to get the promotions weren't necessarily the ones who were the ones that were best qualified, but the ones that were more visible and managed perhaps their brand and their presence more effectively. So when I left corporate life, I decided to research and train intensively and set up a company that really addressed this whole personal brand and executive presence and personal impact, but very much from an authentic viewpoint. So it's not about being somebody you're not. It's about really uncovering what those core authentic values are for you as a person and looking at how you want to project yourself in line with that, and then looking at packaging and projecting that brand in a way that is effective for you and whatever your career and business goals are. So it's Walking Tall was a very apt name for it. It's about standing out from the crowd. We work with anybody from C-suite to graduates and induction programs.
Wow, that's quite a broad scope. So, what do you
Yeah.
strive to achieve for your clients?
What we find with our clients is, as you well know today, that the brand of any organization really is projected most powerfully by people and people behaviors. And us as consumers or clients or suppliers, we talk about companies based on the experience we have. So my philosophy is that the most powerful part of the brand today is what your customers and clients say about your brand to their contacts. And that's always from that experience viewpoint. So what we strive to do is to take all the great investment that a company has put into their brand and raising the awareness of who they are and what they stand for, and taking that and maximizing it by taking it down to the personal level of individuals so that they can interpret and internalize the values of the organizations individually, and project that. So it's a life skill. It's not just a professional skill, but it addresses both personal development and the corporate objective of maximizing the brand.
So, really, I mean, it's very key, not what we think we are, but what our customers and potential clients think we are. We think we portray one kind of brand, and then if you go out and ask your customer or a potential client, they may have a totally different viewpoint of who we
Yeah.
are and what we do. So, what do you love to do most in your professional role?
I love to see the results. So, first of all, I love to work with clients where I can see where the challenge is, but clients who are very committed to making sure that the experience their customers and clients have really is in alignment with what they're advertising that they say they do. So, I very much love working with people who want to work in a partnership, not companies that just see this as a training course that they have to provide for people because that's what they have to be seen to be doing. It's the clients that really want to see the results and really make a difference with the experience that customers have. So that's what I love to do most, and seeing the results, measuring the results of that, so that they do meet their business objectives of whatever it might be, of being in the top 100 best companies to work for, or whether it means being the best of their category in their particular industry and scope or whatever. But it's those. I love to work with people who are committed to seeing results.
Well, that is a question, isn't it? Whether or not all of your clients who you are working with really want the results that you want for them. I mean, a lot of people talk a good game, but they don't necessarily follow what they have to do to make it effective.
Yeah, exactly right. They go through a process. Some companies do of saying, right, we've rebranded, we have a set of values. Let's put everybody through an almost sheep dip approach of these are what our values are, and this is what we want you to live and breathe every day. And it's almost it's a just a an automated thing that people go through. They have to go through so they can say they've done it. But really, they miss getting to the depth that makes the real difference in modifying behaviors of people so that people actually want to build their brand and reinforce the corporate brand because it's about them as an individual and their career. So, yeah, there's a lot of companies that will pay lip service to, yeah, this is what we do and we do that really well. And there are other companies who really do believe that we can make a difference and are committed to it. So that's what I love to do.
Well, it's interesting. In fact, talk about branding. I just think about brands in general. And sometimes I go in and I yearn for the time when there was only one kind of toothpaste I could buy. I mean, I go in there and there's like 20, not even from different companies, but 20 different kinds of toothpaste from the same company. And I think, can there really be that many ways to brush your teeth? But anyway,
Yes, exactly.
but you had a change of lifestyle in 2014, I think. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I did. I've always loved the west coast of the US whenever I've arrived over here to work. I've been UK based in near just outside London for, up until then, and I always had this in my mind that I would love to live in California one day, and we made it happen. I got to apply for my green card. It started in 2007, and for my husband and my son, who is now 22, the green card was finally approved 5 years later. So in late 2014, we all moved over to live in Monterey in California, and it's the best thing. It was a lifestyle move, although we knew that we could run the business from here, and I deliver in the US now as well as have a team of people in the UK and other parts of the world. So it was a risk, it was a challenge, and there were times when, gosh, we really thought, is this going to work out? It seemed that every possible challenge was being thrown at us before we left at one stage. But it really has been the best decision we ever made. And it took a lot of courage, but we did it and we love it.
So, how has that positively affected you, and what have you learned as a result from that?
I think persistence was a key thing. There were times when as I just said, that I thought, well, it's something telling us to give up here. And then we'd sort of turn that around and say, well, no, I think it's testing us to see whether we really do want to go, because this is a big move. So persistency, it taught me. It also taught me that if you really do want something badly enough, you can do it. And I know that sounds cliched, but it was something I really badly wanted to do, and my husband as well, of course. And we just put in every effort, and the focus was very much on moving over here, and we achieved it. So it's helped me with running the business now as well, with a slightly different outlook. Well, if we want to achieve that, then we can do it. We just have to focus and put in the hard work and keep on that track and not be deterred by negative things that happen along the way. So that was the biggest learning curve, I think.
Well, it's interesting because you certainly couldn't get more different than living in Monterey and then being right outside of London. So
That's right.
I've been to both places many times, and I can concur that there is definitely a lifestyle change. I have two homes in Southern California. I have a home in Palm Springs and one in San Diego, and yeah, I mean it's a whole different lifestyle, absolutely.
It
So
is, yeah, certainly.
So, is there anything that you would do differently in your career now looking back at it?
Yeah, there's a number of things I think. I think one of the key things whenever I'm asked that question is don't procrastinate, just get on with it. Make a decision and get on with it. And for me as an individual, I've learned an awful lot about myself running my own business. And I know that the most difficult part of anything is making that decision. You have to make tough decisions along the way. But once it's made, for me, I don't look back. I often talk about life as being a glass wall, and what I mean by that is I can see back and learn from things that I've done or could do differently. in the future, but I don't go back. It's still a solid wall. And so once a decision's been made, then I'm okay with it, and I move on. So it's not procrastinate, because that's the most challenging thing. That's the most tedious and the most negative part of it. So to get on with it, and just to just have the confidence in myself, I think. And I think particularly women in business or women in corporate life have less confidence in themselves to achieve things generally than men do. And I think that self-belief is so important. So doing things differently, I'd look back and say, yeah, you can do it. Have the confidence to do it. If you believe it, put the work in, you'll get there. But just get on with it and not procrastinate.
Well, I think attached to that, really, Lesley, is even worse than procrastination is questioning your decision once you've made it. I
Yeah.
find a lot of people do that. I try not to do that, but there are times that I
Hmm.
sit and I say, wow, should I have done that? Or, should I have made that decision? Should I have taken that other fork in the road?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you also, deal with at the same time. So,
Yes.
what would you say your personal goals and your business goals are now? And how has all of this affected your family as well?
Yes, right. Well, first of all, from the effect on my family, my husband and I work together, so he effectively runs the business. So it was a lifestyle change for him. He was a chartered engineer, professional engineer in the UK, but he's great at processes and systems, which I'm not. So that's great. And my son is working at Pebble Beach and loving it. So for them, it's been really positive. As far as personal goals now, I want to focus a lot more on my speaking career over here in the US. Still traveling, but I want that. There's a lot of work to do to position myself well in the US, coming from the UK. So there's a focus there, but also to build Walking Tall more globally with business partners around the world. And at some point in the future, we will look to sell the training side of the business, the Walking Tall business. And my personal goal would be to speak. I can't ever see myself retiring. I love to speak to audiences, and I would love to continue doing that. But the running of a large training organization has never really appealed to me. And I know one of my weaknesses is managing people. I'm not very good at it, so I don't really want to be doing that. So selling the business in the future would be a goal of ours as well.
Interesting. The combination of you and your husband is fantastic
Mm.
because I think that's what a lot of people lack is the speaker goes out and is creative and loves to speak and has all these wonderful ideas, but there's no real regimen to how the business is run. And that's what your
Yeah.
husband excels at. So you're very, very fortunate. And I think that's wonderful. And I'm sure your son is having a great time at Pebble Beach. So
Oh
I,
yes.
I know that's all
Yes.
happening.
Oh
Now,
yes.
as a speaker, are you aware of the National Speakers Association?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a member. I'm a member of the Professional Speakers Association in the UK, and most recently, 2013-14, I was president of the Global Speakers Federation, of which NSA is a member.
Ah,
They
absolutely.
now have the 13 members there. Yes, so I'm very aware of them and worked very closely with them, and now, of course, I'm a member living over here. So that's
Well,
great.
as our listeners need to understand, with Lesley being president of the Global Speakers Federation, that is a real honor and that is a real highlight of any speaker's career. So if she was that, you are listening to somebody with authority and with great knowledge. So I compliment you on that because that's a
Thank you.
wonderful thing.
It was a real honor to serve, and I learned so much that I didn't even expect to learn in that role. And I think with any volunteer role, you have to look at what you can learn from it. There has to be something in it for you as well, and I certainly got more than I even imagined. So yes, thank you for that. It was an absolute honor.
Well, not only, unfortunately, for those of us who do volunteer, I think we spend more time doing our volunteer work and making sure that that goes smoothly than sometimes we pay attention to our businesses. So I know it took a
Certainly
lot out of your
true.
business as well,
Yes, it certainly did. Yeah, that's it's difficult to say no when you're in a
It is.
volunteer role. It's difficult to get the balance. It really is. Yeah.
So, what would you say to somebody who says, I want to start my own business today? What would your best advice be?
My best advice, if I was just to give one thing, but it's a big thing, is don't try and do it all yourself. Everybody does. You start off in business thinking, I can do that website, I can handle all my social media, I can do that design work, I can handle all the bookkeeping.